Hello everyone! We just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce you to the rest of the team. You guys see a lot of me on the YouTube channel, and if you don't follow us weekly on our live segment, then you don't get to see the rest of our lovely ladies who lead worship every Wednesday night. So just want to take a few minutes just to introduce you to all the other lovely ladies of Wednesday Night Live. They're not only just on the team and lead worship, but they're also the ones that are constantly praying for you guys throughout the week as well. They're going to share a little bit about themselves, favorite scripture, favorite worship song, a little bit about their stories and what brought them here to Wednesday Night Live.
Hey everyone, it's Esther.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelly.
Hi guys, my name is Ching, also known as Chingy.
I grew up in the church singing, and I also sang in elementary school. Singing has kind of been a part of my life. It's always been around. My mom loves singing, my sister's really the singer, and I just kind of grew into it over the years. I absolutely love music. It's definitely a form of expression. I'm more of an emotional introvert. I feel like music helps you kind of get out there emotionally whenever you feel, you know, like you're down or you want to feel, you know, I don't know, escape emotionally. I always felt like music was an escape for me. When I got saved, it kind of grew a little bit deeper, where I learned what worship music was and really worshiping God, what that really felt like, and what that really meant to him. And I feel like from there it really grew into something much deeper than just music.
I grew up in church. I've always been around music. My dad was a pastor. I spent a lot of time in ministry. I spent a lot of time around music and things like that. So I would say that music has always been a part of my life, especially it's always something that I've considered a ministry of mine. Always something that I've seen myself doing in some capacity. I've been singing with the group and choirs and things like that since I was in elementary school. I was in every choir in school. Every time I could join the worship team or the choir at church, I was like, please sign me up. I wanted to do it. So it's just always been a passion of mine and something that I felt like God had placed a call on my life to do.
I, as well as Esther, also grew up in church. I didn't have a particular interest in worship music at the time when I was younger, but the Lord really directed my steps into that direction. So how it happened was I happened to be part of a musical play in my congregation, and I had to sing a part. It was one of the first songs in the musical, and it was actually kind of silly. It was a play off of another musical. I had to sing this song. So the leadership after the musical ended was like, wow, you should really think about joining the worship team. And I was like, I don't think so, but I gave it a try. So I started with the worship team. It was going really well. I lacked complete confidence. I was nervous to sing. I didn't want to be up there. I didn't want to do solos. And then the more and more I did it, the more and more comfortable I got. And it happened to be a couple of years in, and I thought, or the Lord put in my heart, why don't you learn an instrument? So I thought about playing guitar. At first, I didn't want to do it because I didn't think learning a new instrument or a new skill at my age was wise, because I was like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But this young spring chicken was able to learn. So I give that testimony to everybody to say that you can do anything that you set your mind to, especially if the Lord is directing you in that step. So after a year of learning with one of my friends who is a music teacher, I practiced for a year by myself, and then I was able to start learning and playing with the worship team at my congregation.
So I have a couple of favorite artists. I don't have a favorite worship song. I love Jen Johnson from Bethel and Katie Torwall. Anything that's like their spontaneous worship I was always really into. Haven't heard anything too recent. I like all different types of music.
I've always been around music. My dad sang all the time, sang all types of things from old hymnals to like making up songs that came to his head. And so I was just always around music, and I would say that I don't have a favorite worship song. I do have the oldies but goodies, and then the songs that I like to sing and things like that. But a really good song that I really love is The Great I Am. And I think it's just such a powerful song, and it's just one of those that kind of hits you and it gets you and you're like, oh, you are so great, God. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. And I mean, I really like gospel music. I like Kira Sheard and like Tasha Cobb and Kirk Franklin, and I like Bethel, I like Hillsong, I like Carrie Job. I really like all of it. I don't really have a preference really. If it's talking about God and it's uplifting his name and it has good solid lyrics and a nice beat, I'm down for it.
I go through phases of playing certain worship songs on repeat. I'll find one on YouTube in like the comment section or like the next on section, and I will just play it for days. So the current song that is on repeat is called Still God by Elevation Worship, and it just talks about God's oneness and how he was there in the beginning, how he's here now, and how he is going to be forever and always.
My favorite scripture right now would be Jeremiah 17:7 and 8. I've always had this fascination with trees. I had this vision this one time of the garden, and I was absolutely in love with what God had showed me when I had that vision. I was actually at camp. In the scripture, it talks about being planted in God. That's just one of the reasons why I love the scripture and why it clung to me so much.
I never really, when we talk about having like a favorite scripture, I don't have like one scripture that I would say is like my go-to. And I think anyone who's been walking with the Lord for any amount of time would probably say the same. I feel like I more have groupings of scriptures that really speak to me, and things that speak to me at different points in my life for different reasons. So I feel like I have things that I will go back to because I know that those are good and they kind of stand true and kind of speak to me in different ways. Right now, my favorite scripture is Psalm 139 verses 13 to 14. And what I really like about those scriptures is that it talks about God knowing me before, like just talking about shaping me when I was in my mother's womb, and just knowing every piece of me and every bit of me. And I really, right now, why that really speaks to me is because I feel like I got into a place where I didn't know where God was taking me or where it was going, and I felt like I was at a standstill, like, God, where are we going? What are we doing? And he was like, don't worry about it. Like, I know you, I formed you before you even were a thing. I knew every piece of you, and I still know every part of you, and I know where I'm taking you. And so right now, that's really been a calming kind of comfort to me, to know that God knows every piece, every intricate part of me, and so I don't have to worry about what tomorrow brings.
My favorite scripture is from Psalm 16, and it just talks about the promises and the goodness of an intimate life with God, especially the fact that you will not be abandoned by the Lord. He will not abandon your soul. He will uplift you and comfort you and give you dreams and visions of a life with him.
So Jenna and I first got together for Wednesday Night Live. She had texted me the day after I had been praying to God and asking him to really help me express myself a little bit more and get a little bit deeper in worship. I've always been super shy, and I feel like there's like levels of breakthrough. And so I was asking God this day when I was at David's camp in DC, and I had just told God I really want to break through and really go into another level of worship. And so Jenna had texted me the next day and asked me if I wanted to be part of Wednesday Night Live and worship with her, and so I just saw it as an invitation from God, and I said yes.
I met Jenna in high school randomly. We had a class together. Nothing really ever kind of came out of that. We knew each other about a year ago when we started, when Jenna started Wednesday Night Live. We had met up and we were talking, and she just kind of invited me to join in on what her and Esther had begun. And I really thought that it was a great opportunity to join in on the ground level of something that I felt God really had his hand in. And as Esther mentioned before, really just kind of wanting to express myself and push myself in a different way. I've been a worship leader before. I know what that is and how that looks like, but to do something live, to be a part of something small and intimate, I hadn't really done that before, and I just felt that God was trying to push me in a different way, and when that opportunity came about, I was like, yes, of course, I'd love to do it.
I am actually the last member of Wednesday Night Live. I was helping out with a worship night that some of the ladies at my Bible study had arranged with Jenna. And we hadn't practiced, we chose a couple of songs, and after a while we just clicked, like everything fell into sync, and we ended up playing like 45 minutes of just worship songs that we felt led to lead. After that, about a month or so later, Jenna approached me and asked, would you like to be part of Wednesday Night Live? And it just made complete sense.
And here we are a year later, and it has been phenomenal. I feel like I've really been able to get out of my comfort zone little by little. The girls have seen me from the struggle all the way out to pushing me and getting me out of my comfort zone, which has been so awesome. I'm so grateful for them.
And here we are, you know, a year later, and God has been so faithful and so great in every aspect of everything that we're doing. It's been a really great experience.
I'm so happy and grateful to be part of the team. I feel very uplifted and encouraged by the ladies, and so happy to be part of this ministry.
We all support Wednesday Night Live. We know Jenna has a calling over her life, and I can't wait to call her Pastor Jenna one day. And I hope everyone has been really blessed through this. We've been growing, and as we grow, we hope to bless you guys as you guys grow as well.
Thank you so much for joining us and for participating in this ministry. I really hope that you get something out of it every week, and that you continue to follow us as we continue to grow in God.
So we hope to see you at the next Wednesday Night Live.